Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Foam rolling the hips and shoulders is a great way to loosen the fascia tissue and those tight muscles. Today we will mainly focus on the hips and then some bonus areas that affect the shoulders. You will need 2 tennis balls and a foam roller. So let's get started. We're going to start by stretching out and testing our range of motion. So straighten out those legs, give them a shake. Take a deep breath, inhale, reach the arms, kind of see where your range of motion is with your shoulders as well. Keeping the spine long, start to hinge through those hips as you reach for those toes. And just see where you can reach. You know, maybe you can touch your toes or the sides of your feet. Never force anything, shake out those legs a little. Another breath in, staying tall through that spine as you lean forward, and then take a breath in and come all the way back up. Exhale the arms out. And just notice if there's any stiffness. Then take your legs and we're going to crisscross them. Place your right foot in front of the left and just cross them. They can be crossed like this or not touching, that's fine. And then we're just going to test out leaning forward slightly and just feel what's going on in the hips. A little gentle shift side to side because we're going to get into those hips today. And loosen things up and then slowly come up and then switch legs. Place the other foot in front, cross them so the left leg is in front, and then lean forward again and then a little shift side to side. Checking in, and you might notice that one hip is tighter than the other. And then come all the way up. Now we're going to go to our foam roller and we're going to start on the left butt cheek. So I want you to lift yourself onto that roller. Place your left glute or butt cheek on that roller, feet flat, knees bent. We're going to roll all the way towards the sits bones or where the glute meets the leg as well, and then all the way to the top of that glute. And go nice and slow and controlled. So you can find any spots or tender places where the fascia is a little bothered, so to speak. The little speed bumps in there. One more time, all the way down, and then all the way back up. And then I want you to come to the very middle of your glute, and then bring your left ankle over your right thigh, keeping that right foot flat. And now keep the knee open, that left knee. Maybe flex the foot, and again, roll to the bottom of that glute, and then all the way to the top, and then all the way to the bottom. So see if you find any more speed bumps or tender spots. And then if you do, maybe find the middle of that glute and bring that knee up and down like you're flapping a wing, moving that leg. And then we're going to move again. Up and down, all the way. Now we're going to get a little deeper into the outside edge of that glute. So you're going to draw that knee towards the floor, towards the front of your roller. You can even drop to your elbow if you'd like. And now you're going to rock that whole body side to side. So you're really getting into, maybe draw that knee as close to the floor as you can, and then back into the glute. And then back down, knee towards the floor. If you want, you can hold the ankle or not. You can always hold the roller. Couple more. Getting into that TFL right into the side there. Bring that leg towards the floor. Got one more. Excellent. We're going to uncross that leg and we're going to slide right off that roller. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Straighten out your right leg. So that left leg that we just rolled, let's stretch it out. So bring your left foot across the thigh, the right thigh, hug the knee in, and just give it a squeeze. Lift through the spine, and then a little twist. You can really feel that glute stretching, flexing the right foot. And we're going to use the tennis ball as well to get deep into the glutes. We're going to move up into that QL which attaches and can affect our rotation of our hip. and right at the top of our quads that attach into those hip flexors. So again, loosening everything up about the hip. And then we're also going to move into those shoulders and the neck and loosen things up. So the two major areas of our bodies that we use a lot. Go ahead and release that leg. Give it a shake. Now we're going to go on to our right glute. So I'm just going to turn around here. So you're going up onto that right butt cheek, right hand on the floor behind you, feet flat on the floor, and then roll the body slowly. Sometimes we tend to go too fast. We kind of zoom through it. So try to slow down the roll and really be mindful of the pressure that you're putting on in that glute onto the roller, all the way to the bottom of the glute where you're hitting almost the leg, the hamstring, and then all the way to the back, to the top of that glute, almost going into that low back. So get a full range of motion. Slowly moving through that tissue. So we're trying to knead, it's kind of like kneading the tissue, softening it up. So then it will stretch more, it'll be more prepared to get nutrients and oxygen and hydration in there. One more. All the way to the bottom and then all the way to the top. Good. Then find the middle of that glute and then bring your right ankle over your left thigh and flex the ankle, open up the knee, and let's roll again. Now this might be a little more tender as we're pulling that knee up, so getting that tissue to pull a little bit more taut and you get a little deeper into that glute. So if you find a spot, just putting the knee up and down, like you're flapping a wing, find those spots. Loosen things up. Trying to get that fascia tissue, which runs through the whole body, to reorganize. So if there's a knot or something there, we're going to be flattening it out, getting that area kind of like squeezing a sponge, and then it can rehydrate and expand and be more mobile and softened up. One more time. Now then you're going to find the kind of the middle to top of that glute. We're going to drop to the elbow and then push the knee to open it up towards the floor on the front side of that roller, and then just rock the whole body. So you're really getting into the top back of that glute and then towards the side of it. And if you feel like you're hitting a bone, it's uncomfortable, move the body down so you go higher up on that glute, almost towards that low back. And just rock and roll. Might be a little tender there, but it has a lot to do with that area of how we rotate our hips, cross our legs. One more. And then we're going to uncross. Go ahead and slide off the front of that roller. Straighten out your left leg and bring your right leg across. Place the foot on the floor. Hug that right knee and lift nice and tall. Just really focus on stretching through that hip and that glute when we hug that knee in. Flex that left foot, sitting up nice and tall. And breathe. Enjoy that stretch. You might even feel it up into the low back area, the QL, if you're real tight there. And it will be loosened up in a little while. So go ahead and release those legs. Now you're going to take one tennis ball here. Go ahead and set your foam roller to the side. And we're going to go back to that left butt cheek. So we're doing left side today. So what you're going to do is lean to the right so you can place that tennis ball under the meaty part of your left butt cheek. And then bring your hands behind you. Now, if it gets too much on your wrist, an option is to bring that roller behind you and lean on it if it's too much on your wrist. Then what you're going to start out with is dropping that left knee open and close. Just noticing what's going on. Now we're going to get a little more intense on this. So if it gets to be too much, just take a break. And now you're going to use your hands, again, on the forearms on the roller or your hands on the floor. Lift your body just enough that you can start to slide your body forward so that tennis ball moves up your towards your top of the glute and then down towards those sits bones. So just sliding the body forward and back. Very slowly, just like we did on the roller. If you find a spot, you can always sit back down on that right butt cheek and drop the knee open and close. Maybe you move up and try it a few spots. So just kind of move around, maybe draw a circle. That knee is, see if you can leave the knee open now as you draw little circles on that glute. It can be, again, a little intense, so just don't put as much pressure on that glute. You can bring the knee back up if you'd like and try just opening and closing the knee. Again, I give options, variation of what works for your body and what feels okay to you. Now what we're all going to do together is bring that knee back up. And I want you to slide your body forward so the tennis ball moves to the very top of your butt cheek, of your glutes, almost to the top, and then a little bit to the right so it's towards the upper outside edge of that left glute. Good. Drop that left knee open. So you're going to start to feel a little more intensity now. Here's the fun part. You're going to drop to your left elbow. Ooh. Yes. And then you're going to bring that knee up and down. So this can be a little intense, but it's right up there, the very top of that glute. And then just bring that knee open and close. Anybody feeling that? Yeah. So just by moving the leg, you can feel how much is going on there. That area has a big job of moving our leg up and down, in and out. You can even try straightening the leg and bending it. You can try opening it and sliding it open sideways. So a couple options there, or just stick to rocking side to side. Make adjustments if you need to. Maybe you move forward a little more and let that tennis ball move a little more to the side. Again, that gets pretty intense. So you're way up there on the upper outside edge of that glute, leaning on that left elbow, working that left glute. Minimus and medius way up at the top. One more time. Then we're going to pull that knee up. Good. And release that tennis ball. Oh, feels so good. All right, then we're going to sit all the way. Actually, we're going to lay back down, sorry. We're going to lay down all the way. That's what I forgot. We're going to cross that leg. So the left ankle goes over the right thigh, and then slide it over all the way so the knee is nice and tight. Walk your right foot to the right side of your mat, and then drop both knees to your right. So you're really stretching through that area that we just rolled. And maybe bring your arms to cactus arms, bend elbows out to your side, both shoulders staying on the floor. And just feel that nice stretch through that glute. That sciatic, if you have sciatic issues, this would feel really good. You can also pull your knees higher up towards your chest, but they're still leaning towards the right. And breathe. And you want this to feel good, a really good stretch, stretching that whole area. Then we're going to release the legs and bring them back and across the feet. And then hug the knees into the chest. And you can roll to your side, or you can roll yourself all the way up, because we're going to go to the right side now. So you're going to take your tennis ball, lean to the left, place the tennis ball under the right meaty part of that glute, and then just drop that knee open and closed. And again, you can use that roller behind you if you would like to support your body, putting your elbows or forearms on it. It would look like this if you're not sure. You can always lean on it here, just to let those wrists have a little break. Then what you're going to do, again, you can hold on to the roller, or you can put your hands here on the floor. You're going to walk your feet out in front and just start to slide your body forward and back, getting that whole glute. All the way to the sits bones, all the way to the top. And going slowly, that's the key here. Going very slow. Now if you find a spot, maybe pause there and bring that knee open and close, especially down by that sits bone. And then slide the body back up, dropping the knee open and close. And you might notice a difference on the right compared to the left. It might be a little more intense on one side than the other. And maybe, oh, we found a knot. And just bring that open and closed. If you have sciatic issues, again, you might find some spots in there. Don't press too hard if it's incredibly tender or sends what I call zingers or nerve pain. You want to ease off on the pressure and not put quite so much there. Because that's your body telling you that it's too much. And then we go into fight or flight and it starts to fight us, and we don't want that. We want the tissue to soften and relax, not tense up and fight us. Then try to maybe draw some circles, the knee open, sliding the body around, or straighten out the leg a little. See if you find any spots. You might feel the tension or the tightness going up into that back, that QL, which we're going to get to. It all attaches, it all is connected all up in here. Good. Now you're going to slide your body forward so that tennis ball goes way up to the top of the glute. I know, you're looking forward to this, right? Really getting that tissue to soften. Slide your body slightly to the left so that tennis ball goes to the outside edge of that right glute. Drop your right knee open and then drop to that right elbow. And then bring that knee up and down. And again, the intensity can be a little much. If it's too much, you can bring your body back up. You can lean on the roller. Lots of options. You can slide that leg straight and bend. You might feel that radiating all in that whole area. Good. And make adjustments if you need to, bringing it in further towards the glute or more towards the outside edge. You can rock a little side to side, depending on how it feels on this side compared to the other side. So if you're right dominant, this might be a little more intense. Or maybe you had something going on in that hip. Maybe your left side was more intense. Just continue to rock and roll, massaging out that tissue, softening it up. Again, think of a sponge. If the sponge is all kind of hard, it doesn't have a lot of water or hydration in it, it's harder to bend and move. So when you put that hydration in there, it's more mobile and softer. Same thing with our tissue of our body and our fascia tissue. Getting it moving. Last one. Then we're going to take that tennis ball out. Go ahead and place it to the side. We're going to lay on our backs because you want to stretch out that area. So bring your right ankle across your left thigh. Open up the knee. Then slide that leg all the way over so the right knee is nice and tight over the thigh. Your shoulders are relaxed. Walk your left foot on the floor to the left side of your mat. And then drop both knees to the left. So you get a nice little torso twist, but you're really stretching through that glute, that whole glute, and especially towards the top where we just had that tennis ball. Option is you can bring the knees and feet up a little higher to the chest. And just breathe here. And again, notice where you're feeling it. Is it more glute? Is it more in your back? Where are you tighter? Everybody's a little different, and we will get to that upper QL, like I said. That is coming up next. Take another breath in, and then exhale it out. Try to relax the body. And then if you're holding onto the knees, let them go. Walk your feet back to center, and then uncross those legs. Give the knees a squeeze into the chest and a little rock side to side, massaging out that low back. A little bit more side to side. And then you can come up however you feel comfortable. You can roll to your side, or you can hold the legs and you can roll yourself all the way up. All right, so now we're going to move up from the glutes into the QL. So here you're going to need your 2 tennis balls. Dun, da, da. So we're going to start out with the tennis balls stacked on top of each other. And we're going to do a move this way, and then we're going to move the tennis balls side to side. So what you're going to do is with the tennis balls, to find your QL, they're going to be stacked on top of each other right on that low back area, but not on the vertebrae and not too much to the side. To figure out where you want them to go, here's a little trick. Let's cross our right foot in front of our left foot, just like we did at the beginning. And then I want you to lift through the spine, twist your body towards that right knee, and then lean forward towards that right leg. And just breathe. And notice where you're feeling it. Might be a little more to the side here, going up. And then take your left hand and just start to rub along that low back and see where you can feel the tension. Maybe you can feel that muscle. Maybe there's a little soft spot between the vertebrae and the muscle. So right around in there is where you're going to place those 2 tennis balls, but we're going to lay on them on the back. So then you're going to come up from your cross-legged position. You're going to work your way to your back. And then remember, the tennis balls, one is closer to your hip and one is closer to the shoulder. They're stacked on, so they're longwise. Make sure the one by the hip is not digging into the hip bone. You want it right above there, and it's not touching your spine. So it's right between the spine and the side of your waist. The other one is above it. Now, if you have a very short span between your hip and your rib, you might only need 1 tennis ball. Some of you with longer torsos might want 2. So play around with what feels okay. Your feet are flat on the floor, knees bent, and then bring your arms out to cactus arms. Then start to draw your both knees slightly to your left and then back to center. So it's a very small move. You're rocking your body weight onto the tennis balls and then back off. Back on and back off. Again, this can be a little intense depending on what you have going on in that area. Back on and back off. One more. So just kind of getting the area a little bit warmed up. So now you're going to rotate those tennis balls. So drop both knees to the right, away from the tennis balls, and you're going to turn them. So now they're going to be side to side like this instead of up on top of each other. So one is a little closer to the vertebrae, but not touching it, and one is closer to the edge of your body, next to each other. Bring your knees back up to 90 degrees, like so the knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Now from here, we're going to do the same thing we did before rocking, but our range of motion is changing. Drop both knees all the way to your left, so you're going to your left hip, and then roll back up into the center of your body. And then roll to the left. Now if this is too intense, bring those tennis balls maybe a little lower towards the hip, especially if you feel like you're hitting anything. So we got some vital organs back there. So we want to be mindful that we're not hitting anything or sending shooting pains. That means you have too much pressure. So again, drop, just very slowly drop the knees. So we're going right into the side of the waist there with that tennis ball, and then back up. And make adjustments. Maybe you need to move the tennis ball further away from the spine and more towards the outer edge of the side of the waist. Just get to know your body. Figure out what's going on. What feels good, what doesn't. Where do you have tension? Continue dropping the knees, and hopefully it's starting to lessen up if you move those tennis balls like a little higher or a little lower. Getting into the QL, which is the quadratus lumborum, which goes up from that hip. And breathe. We have one more to go. And then we're going to roll both knees back to center and then drop the knees to the right so you can remove those tennis balls. And let's hug them, the knees into the chest, give it a rock, massage the back. And then you're going to come all the way back up. And we're going to stretch that area that we just rolled. So you're going to bring your right foot back in front of the left, crossing those legs. Sit up nice and tall, and then rotate your shoulders to the right knee, and then start to lean down to the right. But keep your left hip and left knee on the floor. And I have a final stretch we're going to do to get into this whole area, but after we do the other side. And breathe. And then we're going to come up. Now just to loosen things up and test the other side, Come up to center, bring your left foot in front now. Rotate your shoulders to the left knee and lean into it. And just, again, find what's going on now the low back on the right. Where do you feel tension? Bring that hand back there. Massage along that area. Find that tension. Might be very different than the other side. And now we're going to take the tennis balls, come all the way back up. We're going to lay on our back. And we're going to place the 2 tennis balls. So they're stacked on top of each other. So one goes closer to the hip, one goes closer to the shoulder. So you're going to lean to your left so you can bring that right side of your hip up. Place those tennis balls in that low back area. Make adjustments. Again, if it's digging into the hip bone, you need to move it a little higher. If you want only 1 tennis ball, that works too. And then just gently bring your arms out to 90 degrees, like cactus arms, feet flat, knees bent. Drop your knees very gently, just a little side to side. You're doing a very little rock because you just want to let the body know that you're going to massage out that area. You don't want it to be too intense. Continue breathing. Hopefully this feels good. Make adjustments if you need to. Get 2 more little rocks with the legs. And there we go. That's 2. Now you're going to roll off the tennis balls. Turn the tennis balls sideways. So now one's closer to your spine but not touching, and one is closer to the outer edge of your hip. Good. Arms out to the side and then drop. This time you're going to drop your knees to the right and you're rolling onto that right hip. And then drop the knees and roll back up. And drop the knees. And again, make adjustments with those tennis balls. If it's really intense, take less pressure by not rolling as far over. It's a slow movement. We're controlling it. We're breathing. Being gentle and kind to our body as we work deep into all the connective tissue of the hips. And also this does affect our shoulders as well, and as our range of motion, because if our hips are really tight, then it pulls on the low back muscles, which affects the upper back muscles, which affect our shoulders. Again, all connected, long kinetic chain. Good, let's go 1 more rock, side to side. And then slowly rock both knees to your left. Bring those tennis balls out. Go and set them to the side and hug your knees into the chest and give them a little rock side to side. And then you're going to slowly roll yourself up, or you can roll to the side. So we're going to cross the legs again. Left leg in front. Lift those shoulders all the way up. See, we just did the right. So we're going to turn and twist our upper body to the left knee and stretch that right low back. And just breathe there. You want that to feel so good. Inhale and exhale. And then go ahead and walk your hands back up to neutral. Keeping the left leg in front, I want you to just turn and twist to the right and lean into it. Lean towards that right knee. Feel that stretch through the hip, the low back. And then come all the way up. Bring the right foot in front. And then twist to the left and lean into it. Just stretch things out. And breathe. And then walk it all the way to the other side 1 more time. Walk your arms to the right, your chest to the right, stretch to the left. And then come all the way up, and we're going to pause right here just for a moment. Take a deep breath in and check in with your posture. And then shift your body side to side. How does that feel? Hopefully you got some feeling pretty good. Feel like you're sitting up a little taller. Well, we're not quite done yet. So now we're going to move into the front of the quads. We're going to roll the quads and then get up into the hip flexors a bit, just slightly, just so we can really loosen up those hips for our final hip stretch. So you're going to come over onto your elbows. You're going to bring that roller right above the knees. So we do always want to roll, like I said, the glutes, quads, and upper back are keys to roll all the time. So we're just going to do a nice gentle forward and back 1 inch on the quads right above the knees. Try to relax those legs as much as you can. I know it's way easier said than done. Your feet and legs are about hip distance apart. Then walk your elbows back 1 inch so that roller goes up your thigh 1 inch, and then slide forward and back. Very slowly. Just notice what's going on. Walk your elbows back, move that roller up. Now as we get up higher into the quads, we're going to get into the meaty part of the quads that can get pretty tight when we have tight hips. Keep moving up to wherever it's comfortable to go. Continue moving back and forth slow. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, pull those shoulders down. Now once you get to where you can't go anymore, we're going to walk the elbows forward, and we're just going to slowly draw that roller back down towards the knees, very slowly. Once you get above the knees, we're going to draw the knees all the way together if they're not there. Place your left hand on the floor and rotate your body just slightly to the right. And then take your right foot and cross it over your left ankle. And then slowly push your body backwards so that roller is slowly moving up the right edge of your thigh. Nice and slow. Yes, your left thigh is on there too, but it's just a slow movement. And then again, drawing it forward so you go back down towards your knees. And then when you get there, release that elbow to the floor, the left elbow, uncross your feet, place your right hand on the floor, tilt your body to the left, and then cross your left ankle over your right ankle. And then slowly draw your body backwards. So that roller slowly moves up your thigh. And just breathe. Both legs are on the roller, but most of the weight is in the left front of the thigh. And then slowly draw the body back forward towards the front of your mat so your roller goes up or down that left thigh. Good. And then once you get back there to the top of the knees, go ahead and release the feet. Uncross them, both elbows on the floor. Slide your body slowly backwards again. So now the roller is moving up the thighs. Walk the elbows backwards, keep going. And then once you get to the knees can get to the floor, let's take a child's pose. So we're going to stretch out those quads, knees apart, feet together. Bring the roller in front and then just stretch it out, belly between the thighs. And breathe. Just feel that nice stretch. Maybe shift the hips now a little bit side to side. Now we're going to bring that roller a little bit close to the body. And now we're going to drop into the top upper quadrant of where your quadricep, the front of your thigh, meets your hip. You're going to drop to the elbows. So basically right where, if I was to bend the leg, it's in that crease there. So you're in the right crease. You can have your left leg bent or pushed on the floor, or even put the knee on the floor or the roller. And then you're going to bend and straighten that right leg. So the leg that's on the roller. Just a small movement. You can even drop to your elbows. Straighten and bend. And then draw your body just slightly forward so the roller goes to the very top of the quad, but not into that hip crease anymore. But you're still going to bend and straighten. So right where that works. Now I want you to bend your knee. Now draw circles with that foot in the air. This might be a little intense. And then reverse direction of your circles. And then straighten the leg. Good. Now you're going to shift sides. So I want you to roll backwards just slightly. So find the crease on your left hip. I'll show you the backward side. The other foot, right foot, can be on the floor. The knee can be on the floor. You're going to bend and straighten. So you're just right on that crease, right on that hip flexor. Maybe you don't feel anything here, and that's fine. Maybe your hip flexor is not that tight. Relax your shoulders. You can be down on your shoulders. And then you're going to draw your body forward so that roller moves right past where that crease is. So it's right on the top of the quad, and you're going to bend and straighten again. So again, this is where it gets a little more intense, when those hip flexors get tight. Shoulders relax, pull them away from the ears, bend the knee, and now draw circles with the foot in the air. And breathe. And then reverse direction, circle the opposite way. You might find some spots towards the outer edge of that front of that thigh. Good, and then we're gonna straighten out the leg. And then go ahead and slide backwards off the roller. Go ahead and place your roller to the side. Now we're gonna stretch those whole areas all the way up into that hip. So go ahead and slide to your belly. Place your right forehead, your hand under your right hand under your chin, and then bend your left leg and pull that left foot towards your glute. See if you can get your knees close together. And just breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Good. Try squeezing your left glute and then relaxing it. And notice the difference. Where is it tight? If you can flex your foot. Now, if you cannot reach your foot, you can use a strap, yoga strap, or a belt, or a towel, or you can always lay on your right side and you just bring your left leg behind you if that is more doable for your hip or your knee, or you can even maybe sometimes grab it from the side. Now we're going to let go of our left foot, switch hands under the chin, and then bend the right knee. Grab hold of that right foot, again with your hand or strap or belt or even a towel, and pull that foot heel towards the glute, maybe trying to get your knees close together, and then squeeze and release that right butt cheek. Continue working that flexibility, that mobility. This helps our mobility in our hips. So now that we've softened that hip flexor tissue and the top of that quad, maybe we'll get a little more mobility with our hips. And then relax those hips, relax the glutes. And then we're going to release that right foot. Good. Place the hands under the chest and press yourself up and back. Find your child's pose. So we want to stretch one more time through that low back and into the hips. Now, while you're back here, walk both hands to your left, but shift your hips to the right. So you can get a little deeper into that QL again, that hip. Take a breath in and let it out. And then walk your hands to the right, shift your hips to the left, and just notice the difference. Maybe it's more up in the rib cage or the armpit than the low back on this side, or maybe it is more on the low back this side. Everybody's a little different. And then we're going to release all the way up. All right, so right before we go to the next one, we're going to do a hip stretch. It's called stacking. And you can use a yoga block or your foam roller. So what you're going to do is we're going to take, I'm going to straighten out my legs and show you. So straighten your right leg, but then bend it enough that you can slide your left ankle under your right knee. So you don't want the ankle under your thigh, but it's under the right knee. All right, then you're going to take your either a yoga block and put it in front of your knee. If you don't have a yoga block, just stick that roller right in front of the knee. Some of you might not even need anything there. Then you're going to take that right foot and you're going to either place it on the roller or you can place it on top of your knee. Now the idea is to stack those feet. But if you're up here like this, then please put your foot on a roller or a block. And lift up nice and tall, and then walk those hands forward. And just hang out here for a moment. And then walk your hands to the right and rotate your chest towards your right knee. And again, hands on either side of the knee. Maybe try to get your elbows towards the floor. Maybe your nose to the knee. Now your left hip and butt cheek need to stay on the floor. So keep those lower. And then we're going to walk it up. Now rotate the whole body towards your roller or towards that right toe up on top. So again, you can reach towards your toe and the right hip stays on the floor. And this just takes practice. So if you're, again, like I said, when I started this particular posture, I was here. My hips were very tight. It just takes time. Be patient with your body. And then we're going to come up. Now if your foot is on the roller or not, you're going to bring it up, lift it up slowly. The key is slow. Straighten out those legs, give them a shake. It might be a little intense, feeling those inner thighs. Then we're going to do the other side. So on the other side, that left leg is straight. The right ankle is under that left knee. So not under the thigh, but you want to keep it right under the knee. And then place your block or your roller in front of the other knee. And then take your left foot on top of the roller. Or you can stack them. Now, one leg might be totally doing it perfectly, and the other leg might be like way up here. That's okay. Just means one hip is tighter than the other. Listen to your body. Okay, so we don't want to have the foot back here, and you don't want your underfoot under the thigh. They're stacking right on top of the knees or something in front. You could put a pillow there as well. Sit up tall and then lean forward into it. And then gently rotate your body to the left, towards that left knee. Reach the hands out or on either side of the knee, elbows towards the floor, and maybe head towards the knee. And again, keeping that right butt cheek down on that floor and the right hip. And just breathe. And don't force anything. And then we're slowly going to walk both hands to the other side. So you rotate the upper body to the right, keep that left hip on the floor, maybe get the forehead towards the big toe. And just breathe again. We're not judging our bodies, we're just appreciating what they can do. We're doing the best that we can with the tools that we have, that we've been given in our bodies, taking care of them. And then we're slowly going to come up and we're going to release those legs. Go ahead and straighten them out and give them a shake. So there's one more area we're going to get just to help with our hip mobility. So you're going to bring that roller right next to you. Now I'm putting it on my left side and I'm going to come all the way onto my belly and then I'm going to lean on to my right hip. So laying all the way flat down on the floor, right elbow, right hip, roller on my left side, and then I'm going to bring that left knee and inner thigh right on top of that roller. So we're just going to do a little straighten and bend on that inner thigh. So you're above the knee. Make sure you're not hitting that knee. And then you're going to bend it, roll the roller a little closer up that thigh, straighten and bend. This can be a little intense as well. Now that we've stretched out everything up above, good. And then bring that roller again, a little higher up that thigh, straighten and bend. And you just keep moving that roller up the inner thigh. Yes, you might be feeling this a little more. You can always drop to your elbows and lean into it more, and you can also roll your body in and out, like so you're going towards the belly and the roller's moving to the inner thigh, and then you move away from the roller to your side and it moves up. And your knee can be all the way up at 90 degrees at the hip and the knee. If it's too intense, you can bring the knee down so it's not quite at a full 90 degrees. Again, depends on what feels okay to you. So just gonna do a little bit more there. One more roll. And then we're gonna switch sides. So I'm just gonna flip around. So just go bring that roller to the other side, dropping to our left elbow, left hip, bring the right knee up on top. Good. And then straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And again, we're not hitting that knee bone or that joint. If this is incredibly painful, move the roller higher up that inner thigh and don't put as much pressure on it. And then bring that roller up the thigh a little more. And just continue to straighten and bend. Noticing the difference from this side to the other side. How is that inner thigh? Is one side more tender than the other? It's pretty normal. Usually you'll have a side tighter, and when we stretch it, you'll really notice it. And then also the option just rolling in and out along that inner thigh. If you play golf, if you play pickleball or tennis, you're moving in different planes of motion. I mean, just anything hiking. This is really good to keep that mobility of that hip, especially if you find a side that's tighter or a spot. If you find a spot, again, just straighten and bend. Good. 2 more rolls along that roller for that inner thigh. And then we're gonna release. We're gonna come all the way up to tabletop. And you can bring that roller out in front of you to lean on it. And then we're gonna take one leg out to the side, all the way out, and shift your hips. Maybe walk it away from the leg, leaning. You can walk it to your elbows if you want. So you're stretching out. That left leg is out to the side or right. And then you're gonna lift in the toe and then rotate it back down. So the key here, of course, is to get that inner thigh to stretch out. So we did this after we did all the other stretches for the outside part of the thigh. So it would work a little easier. Then we're gonna release, bring that knee back, and let's try the other side. So bring that right leg out, lean away from it, hips going backwards towards that left heel slightly, then lift and lower the toe. So you rotate from the heel down to the toe. And then release. Excellent. We're going to sit all the way back down on our bottoms and find that cross-legged, or you can straighten the legs, whatever feels good to you. So we're gonna move from here to the upper body. You're gonna need 1 tennis ball. We're gonna have to get this whole area done. We're gonna take that tennis ball, and you're gonna take it to the right side of your chest, and you're just gently gonna press down and roll up and down along the front of the chest wall to the middle, and then back to the shoulder. Now, if you have wrist issues and that's very challenging, you can always use the block. So what you would do is just place the tennis ball there and use the block to go up and down. And you can even use 2 hands. So that's an option if you have wrist issues and that's really challenging on the wrist to roll that. All right. And then you're going to go back and forth across that chest wall, gently pressing. And then you're going to draw circles around and around. And then we're going to find any tender spots and add a little pressure. Extend the arm out and then circle the arm. So you can be wherever you have any tender spots, tightness if you've been working out, or this is your dominant hand maybe. And then change direction on the circle. And you can move to different spots in the chest depending on what you have going on. And just keep changing directions. Then from here, we're going to take that left hand, place it on the thigh or whatever side you're on. Take that tennis ball right on top of the shoulder at the base of the neck and draw it front and back. So you're going, I'll turn sideways, to the back and the front, right over the top of that shoulder. And when you go back, you might feel some, kind of sinks into that little divot. If you can't find it, you can use your fingertips and find it there. And then when you bring that tennis ball back, juice it like an orange, that tennis ball. Just give a little rub. Not so hard that you're causing any kind of a skin rash, but just that you can feel that tissue. Just circle it around. Then turn your head away from the tennis ball and then back to the tennis ball. And then you're going to work that tennis ball towards the edge of your shoulder, to the mediodeltoid, and then right over the top edge. So you're getting that connection in there. And then you can even roll it side to side. It's a little extra bonus there. Then from there, you're going to go back up the shoulder. I want you to bring the tennis ball right behind your ear. And if you're not sure what to feel for, you can use your fingertips to massage. There's a muscle right there, and you probably will feel that muscle. We're not going down the side. It's behind the ear. And so you're going to use that tennis ball. Just add a little pressure behind the ear, just a small bit, and just do little mini circles moving down that muscle. And you can tilt your head away from the tennis ball. So if you're on the left side, tilt your right ear to the right shoulder. If you want to have it straight up and down, you can. But you're going to feel it a little more if you tilt away. Just work your way gently down towards the back side of the neck. So instead of coming straight down forward, we're just going backwards a little bit to the base. And you're not going on the vertebrae, you're just down at the base where the neck and the top of the shoulder meet. Just a little rub there. You can turn your head if you find a tender spot, press down and turn your head right and left. Keep that left shoulder down and relaxed. And breathe. And then you're going to release. Now we're going to go to the other side. Rotate that left shoulder. And then we're going to take the tennis ball in the right side of the chest, unless you did the right side already. And then you go to the left and just draw that tennis ball up and down as you go along that chest wall to the middle and then back to the shoulder. And then we're going to go back and forth across the chest wall. So all about those hips, and then we're going to touch on these shoulder area and everything that connects to it. Just briefly, just to get a little more range of motion. Then you're going to take that tennis ball up on top and go over the top of the shoulder. So the hips we can take forever on, and the shoulders. But again, today just about getting some softening of that tissue, the mobility of those hips and the mobility in the shoulders a little more. You can go about your day. So finding that little divot in there, again, juice that orange, make little turns. You can turn the head away from the tennis ball, back towards it. Then move that tennis ball down towards the top of the shoulder and then over the top, so you're right at the edge there. You can draw it back and forth, or little circles. You might find some spots there. And then back up. Oh, and then on the chest wall, we left out the arm circles. So if you have those spots, you can jump back in there and do the arm circles if you have some tender spots. And you can reverse that arm. And you can even go back and let the arm rest on the shoulder and do the edge of the shoulder. So everybody's a little different on where you've got tender spots going on, depending on what you've been doing, maybe swimming, maybe playing tennis or racquetball or golf. So again, chest wall could be extra tight. Maybe it's more your shoulder, or maybe you slept weird and you want to get back up into that neck. So you can be here at the top, or again, finding the back now of the ear. If you're not sure, use those fingertips, find the back of the ear, and then just do a small little massage. Tilt your head away from where that tennis ball is. And we don't want to add a lot of pressure in the neck, because we don't want to cut off blood supply. That would not be a good thing. So keep it very light, but just enough that you can feel a comfortable massage. And you'll find those trigger points, those tender spots, if it's just about right. and then just work your way down towards the back, where the back of the neck and the shoulder meet. And then you can add a little pressure there and move the head. You want it to feel good. Last one. So finishing up, if you have more to go, you can continue or come back to it. So to tie it all together, we're going to roll the upper back. So we're going to lean back, and we're going to bring the fingertips behind the ears, feet flat on the floor, lift the hips, and then just roll to the top of the shoulder blades and then to the middle where the belly button would come through the back, but not all the way down into that low back. We're going to keep it in that upper back area. If you want to lean slightly to that right shoulder blade and just do a small movement, and then the left, you can. See if you get any natural chiropractic adjustments. And then we're going to get a little deeper. We're going to bring the elbows in above the forehead, bring the fingertips behind the head, tuck your chin slightly, and roll again. And try to exhale as you roll down. Inhale up, and really getting the muscles along the spine between those shoulder blades. One more roll. And then you're going to find the middle of those shoulder blades, lower the hips to the floor, open up the chest, open up the elbows, curve your body over the back of that roller. Option to straighten out those legs. Make sure you're holding your head so everything is supported and lengthened. Another breath in, and then exhale, bring your chin and your head up. And then slowly roll yourself all the way up. And then come to a seated posture, crossing the legs. You can move your roller out of the way. And we're going to test our range of motion just like we did at the beginning. So sit with the right leg in front. Take a deep breath in and reach the arms overhead to the right and to the left. Feels so good. Get a little extra range of motion there in those shoulders. One more. Now grab your left wrist and pull it to the right. And then sit tall. Keep that wrist in your hand and pull it directly across your body, but lower that left shoulder. And then release. Reach both arms up. Hold the right wrist. Pull it to the left. And breathe. Sitting up tall, lowering that right shoulder, but keeping the hand holding the wrist, and pull it across the body. Release both arms. Feel the little rush in the shoulders. Open up that chest. Elbows wide at 90 degrees. Lift them up, 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 up. And then exhale the arms all the way down. One last stretch just to check in from the beginning. Straighten those legs. Find the staff pose. Pull the glutes out from the sits bones, flex the feet. Inhale, reach the arms. Feel a little looser. Tall spine. Exhale, forward fold. Reach for those toes, shake out those legs. So you can continue on and roll the legs a little more. Maybe you just feel nice and loose and you've got some more flexibility and mobility in those hips. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Find that spine, find that posture. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Big smile on your face. Now you're a little taller and a little looser. Shoulders are away from the ears a little more, so longer neck. Take a deep breath in, reach the palms up. Exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.